Welcome to Middle Math Academy's Unit Rate and Unit Price level number 5. If this feels a little bit too fast or a little bit too challenging, please make sure to check out levels 1 through 4. Let's take a look at our learning targets. Our learning targets today are: I can calculate the unit rate and unit cost. I can determine the better deal by calculating the unit cost. And I can compare unit rates and round to the hundredths place. Pause the video and rate yourself before we get started today. 1 being the least confident, 5 being the most confident. How do you feel about these learning targets before our practice? At the end of the lesson, we'll come back and we'll rate ourselves again 1 through 5 after we got some more practice in. Once you've rated yourself, pause the video and complete the opening problem. We're going to go over the opening problem as we complete our notes. Make sure you're writing with me. Our first note is unit rate is a comparison of quantities where one of the quantities is 1. Note number 2, the fraction line means divide. To find the unit rate, we will, you guessed it, divide. Now here's a super important tip. Look at what the question is asking one of. That will be your divisor or your denominator when you divide. So now that we took a few notes, let's go back to our opening problem and implement this information. We want to figure out the cost for one marker. Okay, so if we want to figure out the cost for one marker, for option number 1, we're going to do $9 divided by 72 markers. And it's okay if you didn't have this before, just make sure you have it now. For option number 2, and I'll plug that in my calculator in just a second. For option number 2, we'll do $12 divided by 85 markers. And remember, markers is our denominator because we want to compare our prices for one marker to figure out the best deal. So before we finish off this problem, I want to just finish off our notes. Finding the unit cost helps us determine the best deal when we shop. And that's what we're doing up here. We're determining, is option 1 or is option 2 the best deal? Unit cost helps us find out the amount it costs per one. And in the example up here, per one marker. For the unit cost, money will be our dividend or numerator when we divide. And that's what we have up here. Money is our first number that we'll use when we divide. And then whatever we want one of will be our second number. And then our last note is money always rounds to the hundredths place. That's 2 numbers to the right of the decimal. Pause the video if you need more time, and then we'll finish off our opening problem. So now I'm going to divide to figure out how much it costs per marker. For option 1, I'll do 9 divided by 72, and I got 0.125. Now, we're rounding to the hundredths place, so we only want 2 numbers to the right of our decimal. So because we're rounding, this is either going to stay 12 cents or it's going to bump up to 13 cents. Those are our 2 options. The way we know if it bumps up is if the third number is 5 or higher. Because this number is 5 or higher, this will become 13 cents per marker. So I'll write that in, 13 cents per marker. and then I'm going to circle my answer. Then we'll do the same thing for option number 2. 12 divided by 85 markers. Now we get a little bit of a longer number, but remember, we just need 2 numbers after the decimal. This is either going to stay 14 or bump up to 15. It's all about what number comes after it. The number after it is a 1. That's below 5, so it's going to stay 14. So now we have 14 cents per marker for option number 2. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need more time, or you could even rewind if you just want to watch it again. So now it says, provide evidence to support your answer. This sentence starter is going to help you throughout the day because you're not going to have sentence starters on each problem. So when you're thinking about the best deal, you're thinking about which one's the cheapest. Well, would you rather pay 13 cents per marker or 14 cents? 13 cents is cheaper. So option number 1 is a better deal because 1 marker is cheaper by 1 cent. Okay, so 14 cents is 1 cent more than 13 cents. 14 minus 13 is 1. Go to the bottom of page 1 and put your finger where it says example A. This problem says a concession stand earns $122 over 8 games. Assuming they earn the same amount each game, what is the unit cost? So I know with unit costs, I'm going to look at the cost per game. So that means games is going to be our second number when we divide. So make sure you're writing with me. I'm going to write $122 divided by 8 games. And yes, you need to write the dollar sign. Yes, you need to write games. And when I do 122 divided by 8, I get $15.25 per game. So let's go ahead and write that, circle our answer. All right, I want you to pause the video and complete example B on your own, then come back to the video. Example B says, which person runs at a faster rate? Compare their unit rates. And remember, we're rounding to the hundredths place today. So we want to see who's faster in miles per minute. So I'm going to go ahead and do 36 miles divided by 45 minutes. And when I do 36 divided by 45, I get 8/10. Remember, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth today. So I'm going to go ahead and write 80 hundredths. I'm just adding a 0 to the end. Miles per minute. I'm going to circle my answer. If you haven't already, complete Joe's rate. If you already have, we'll go over that one now. Joe ran 25 miles in 30 minutes. 25 divided by 30 is 0.833333. So remember, this is either going to stay 0.83 or it'll go up 1 to 0.84. It all depends on the next number. So the next number is a 3. That's below 5, so it's going to stay 0.83. So we have 83 hundredths miles per minute. Pause the video if you need more time. We're almost done with this problem. Now we need to write a sentence answering the problem. Which person runs at a faster rate? Well, Joe runs at a faster rate. He runs 83 minus 80 hundredths is 3 hundredths. So he runs 3 hundredths miles per minute faster than Rupert. Pause the video if you need more time. Come back to the video once you're ready for page number 2. All right, let's take a look at page number 2. I'm going to complete A with you and then have you complete the rest of page 2 on your own. A says, at the market, 20 apples cost $5.10. How much does 1 apple cost? Remember, whatever we want one of will always be our denominator when we divide. So in this case, we want 1 apple. So when we divide, apples will be our second number. Also, with unit cost, money will almost always be our first number. So we have $5.10 divided by 20 apples. And when I plug this in my calculator, I get 0.255. I know money always goes to the hundredths place, so this is either going to be 25 cents or 26 cents. It all depends on the third number. Once I look at this third number, I can see it's a 5. So that means because it's 5 or higher, it's going to bump up to 26 cents. So we have 26 cents per apple, and that is our unit cost. Circle your answer and don't forget to round to the hundredths place as you complete this page. Finish the rest of page 2. Come back when you're ready for page 3. On page 3, I want you to complete problem A, then come back to the video to check your work. A says it's $3.57 for 6 pounds of apples. So to figure out 1 pound, I'll do 357 divided by 6 pounds. And 357 divided by 6. This will round to 60 cents per pound of apples. Don't forget to circle your answer and round to the hundredths place. Complete the rest of page 3. Come back when you're ready for page 4. All right, on page number 4, I'm going to complete problem A with you and have you complete the rest of page 4 and page 5 on your own. Problem A says, which is a better deal? Provide evidence to support your answer. Store A for $7.30 for 10 batteries, or store B, $8.42 for 12 batteries. So the first thing I'm going to do is label store A and store B. Make sure you're writing with me. Now, when we're finding the unit cost, we know we're going to divide, and we want to figure out the price per battery so we can easily compare. So I'm going to do for store A, $7.30 divided by 10 batteries. And then for store B, $8.42 divided by 12 batteries. When I plug this in my calculator, $7.30 divided by 10 is 73 cents per battery. That is our unit cost, how much it costs for one battery. I'm going to circle my answer. For store B, I'll do $8.42 divided by 12 batteries. And I get this long number, okay? So this number is either going to stay 70 cents. Remember, we always go to the hundreds place, or it'll bump up to 71 cents. It all depends on the third number. This third number in the thousands place is a 1. Because that is below 5, it'll stay 70 cents. So store B is 70 cents per battery. Go ahead and circle your answer. Now, we're not done yet. We need to write a sentence answering the question. Our question says, which is a better deal? So when we answer, we want to rephrase our question into a sentence. So would you rather pay 73 cents for one battery or 70 cents? We'd rather pay the cheaper option, 70 cents. So store B is the better deal. We can start there. One battery is cheaper by, and then if I do 73 cents minus 70 cents, I can see that one battery is cheaper by 3 cents. And then why don't we just add at store B? So now you're going to complete the rest of page 4 on your own. Don't forget to show your work, circle the unit cost, and write a sentence using this as a model. And also complete page number 5 on your own. Once you've finished both pages, come back to the video when you're ready for page 6. All right, on page number 6, complete the common misconception problem, pause the video, then come back to check your work. The first thing I want you to check for is that you labeled store A and store B. If you didn't, go ahead and label that now. For store A, you should have gotten $1.70 per pack. For store B, $1.74 per pack. If you didn't get those answers, you might have just rounded wrong. So go ahead and fix any errors so far. And then remember, when you provide evidence, you need to write a sentence. So store A has a better deal because one pack of snacks is cheaper by 4 cents. Pause the video, make sure you have this down. Then complete the closing problem on your own. We're not going to check that in this video, but go ahead and complete it and come back to the video once you're done. To close out today's lesson, you're going to answer our debrief questions. In your own words, what did you learn today? Sometimes it's helpful to go back and look at what you practiced on previous pages. How much effort did you put in today? Rate yourself 1 through 5, 1 being the lowest amount of effort, 5 being the greatest amount of effort, and explain. And then what do you think is a common misconception a student might make when learning unit rate or unit cost? Once you've answered these 3 problems, go back to page number 1 and rate yourself after the lesson for each learning target. So now that we've gotten more practice in, rate yourself 1 through 5, how confident do you feel with these learning targets now? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. If you're looking for any more unit rate practice or unit price, remember there are levels 1 through 4 available. We also have 5 lessons on rates. If you're interested in those as well. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you for joining Middle Math Academy.